Hi guys, this is Kacy Paide of the Inspired Office, the office organizing expert from theinspiredoffice.com. And this week the question is, how important is it for us to have other young female entrepreneurs in our life as a support circle? Let's see, I actually do have quite a few friends who are self-employed. They're anything from yoga instructors to holistic health counselors to a friend who even runs an underground restaurant out of her dining room quite successfully. So when I first started, though, 10 years ago when I was 21, I didn't have any friends who were working for themselves. And I wouldn't go so far as to say it was lonely. I didn't feel lonely because I had support from everybody in my life, no matter how old, how young, male, female, self-employed, have a job. So at the time, it wasn't necessarily something I was yearning for. I knew that I had chosen this path, and it wasn't something that there wasn't a model for me, and there weren't other people my age so soon out of college who were doing exactly what I was doing. And to be honest with you, I was actually perfectly fine with that. I didn't actively seek out anybody else who was like me doing what I was doing. But now, 10 years later, I do have, like I said, quite a few friends who work for themselves, and it is extremely helpful. One of my good friends and I together have what we call work hours. I bring my laptop down to her place, or she brings her laptop to my place, and we literally sit across the table and work across from each other. I have an hourglass over there that we actually use. So sometimes she comes and we say, you know what, today we're going to get in 2 hourglasses or 3 hourglasses worth of work. So we'll just sit across from each other, flip the hourglass, get an hour of work done, listen to some music, make something to eat, have a dessert, and then flip the hourglass again and do some more work. And I would say there are 2 very close friends who come to mind who are self-employed, and we absolutely act as each other's advisory committees. And sometimes that is literally scheduling into the week, okay, this day we're going to work together. And sometimes it's just very spur of the moment. I have a question about my business, I pick up the phone, I call one of them, and immediately get some answers if there's a decision I need to make, or I can be very indecisive about the minutia in my business, the tiny, tiny little details, so I know there are people who I can pick up the phone and they can give me exactly the answer I need right away. So I do go to networking events. Some are women only, some are co-ed. I don't necessarily have a preference, and for so long, actually, when I was in those networking events, I felt like the youngest person in the room because I think I was the youngest person in the room. And I would say don't feel discouraged about that at all. If you're in a place where you're ready to, announce your business and network with other business owners, male or female, because any insecurities I had about my age and being the youngest person in the room were only my own. When people found out how old I was and how long I had been in business, or how young I was and how short I had been in business, people really, I think, admired me for it and respected me and really wanted to help out. So I would say, of course, actively seek out other young women, your age group, who are trying to do something for themselves, because there is something to be said for that, very, very excited energy that comes from starting something new and, watching each other's ideas come up in real time. So it's not something that's absolutely necessary. You absolutely want to make sure that you're connecting with somebody not just because they're young and they're female and they're self-employed, but because they, you have a relationship, you resonate with each other, and you value their advice no matter what their background. So I hope that helps. Again, just to sum it up, in the beginning, I didn't know anybody else my age, a young woman who was working for herself, but now I have quite a few friends in my circle of trust, my tribal council, my advisory committee, advisory board, whatever you want to call it, and they are absolutely invaluable and the first couple of people who I go to if I have any decision to make or any fire to put out. So I really do hope that helps, and have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.